Welcome, friends, to our channel. Here we talk about the mysterious and the unknown. Tonight we bring you 3 scary stories about the time traveler's ghost. Turn off the lights, get comfortable, and get ready to be scared. They say the wall between times is thin, and the ghosts of the future are waiting. Our first story takes place in a quiet town called Hollow Creek. Life was simple there, but under the surface something dark was hidden, a secret that would soon shatter the town's peace. It started with whispers, stories of a strange figure seen late at night. People said he wore clothes they'd never seen before, and his eyes were filled with a deep, otherworldly sadness. These stories spread like fire, each one more unbelievable and terrifying than the last. Some said he disappeared into thin air. Others swore he talked about things that hadn't happened yet, his voice a creepy whisper that seemed to echo from the distant past. The townsfolk, once unafraid, started looking over their shoulders, their nights haunted by a growing sense of fear. A young woman named Sarah was the first to see this strange figure. She was walking home from her late shift at the diner, the streetlights casting long, spooky shadows. As she turned onto Elm Street, she saw him, a lone figure standing under the flickering light of a street lamp. His back was to her, but she could see his odd clothes. He wore a long coat, even though it was a warm summer night, and a hat that looked very old. Hesitantly, Sarah called out, her voice shaky in the quiet night. "Excuse me?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. The figure turned, and Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. His face, pale as a ghost, was etched with the tiredness of ages, his eyes burning with a strange blue light. He opened his mouth as if to speak, but no words came out. Then, as quickly as he appeared, he vanished. The phantom from the future continued to haunt Hollow Creek, his sad eyes a constant reminder of the town's disturbing secret. Our next story takes us deeper into the mystery of time, to a place where the past, present, and future all meet. It's the story of Edward, a smart but reckless scientist who tried to unlock the secrets of time travel. Edward's obsession consumed him, pushing him to build a machine that could break through the barriers of time. He thought he could change history, fix the mistakes of the past, but he would soon learn that messing with time came with a terrible price. With a mix of fear and excitement, Edward turned on his machine, the air around him buzzing with energy. He stepped into the unknown, his heart pounding with anticipation and a touch of fear, but something went wrong. The machine sputtered, the air shimmering with unpredictable energy, and instead of being taken to a specific time, Edward found himself lost in a confusing storm of time currents. He was adrift in a sea of time, seeing broken pieces of the past and future, each image more confusing than the last. The weight of centuries pressed down on him, his sanity slowly slipping away. When the machine finally stopped, Edward found himself in a time not his own. His body changed, his very being merged with this strange new reality. He was a living puzzle, a man out of time, stuck between moments, forever tied to this ghostly plane. Edward became a ghost himself, a phantom forever looking for the way back to his own time. He wandered through the years, a silent, unseen watcher, his heart heavy with the sadness of his fate. But Edward's presence wasn't always unseen. People started reporting strange events, creepy encounters with a ghostly figure who seemed to walk through walls and disappear into thin air. They spoke of a man with a haunted look in his eyes, a man who seemed to carry the weight of 1,000 lifetimes on his shoulders. One chilling story came from a young historian named Emily who was researching an old abandoned laboratory, a place rumored to be connected to Edward's disappearance. As she dug deeper into the laboratory's secrets, reading dusty journals and looking at half-built machines, she started to feel a spooky presence around her. Objects moved on their own, cold spots appeared in certain areas, and a faint whisper seemed to follow her everywhere. One evening, As Emily sat alone in the dimly lit laboratory, she felt a cold hand on her shoulder. She turned, her heart pounding in her chest, and came face to face with Edward. His ghostly form shimmered in the dim light, his eyes filled with a deep sadness that seemed to look into her very soul. Chapter 3. The Eternal Haunt. Our last story is the most unsettling, the most terrifying, because it tells of a being that exists beyond the limits of time. This is the story of the Eternal Haunt, a being known only as the Wanderer, a ghostly entity forced to roam through time for centuries. No one knows for sure when or how the Wanderer came to be. Some whisper of a powerful sorcerer who went too far with forbidden magic, his soul shattered and scattered across time as punishment. Others speak of a woman who made a deal with dark forces to save her dying lover, only to be cursed to wander time forever when the deal went wrong. Whatever its origins, the Wanderer became a legend, a whisper of fear that echoed through the ages. Its presence brought a feeling of dread, a bone-chilling cold, and an eerie silence that seemed to swallow all sound. Those unlucky enough to meet it were driven mad, their minds unable to handle the ancient evil that came from the Wanderer. Stories of the Wanderer's reign of terror span centuries and continents. In medieval Europe, it was said to have haunted the castle of a cruel king, driving him insane with whispers of his victim's pain. In feudal Japan, it was blamed for the disappearance of an entire village, the villagers vanishing without a trace, leaving behind only an unnerving silence and a lingering sense of dread. And in the busy cities of the 20th century, it was said to hide in the shadows, preying on those who dared to go out alone at night, whispering their deepest fears and making their darkest desires stronger. One particularly chilling encounter happened in the 1940s in London, during the chaos and fear of World War II. A young woman named Evelyn, a nurse working tirelessly in a bomb-damaged hospital, came face to face with the Wanderer during one especially scary night shift. The air raid sirens had just sounded their warning, and the hospital hallways were filled with the sounds of nurses rushing around and wounded soldiers moaning. Evelyn was taking care of a young soldier, his body torn by shrapnel, when she felt a sudden drop in temperature. The air grew heavy, and a suffocating silence fell upon the room. She turned, her heart pounding in her chest, and saw it, a shadowy figure standing at the foot of the soldier's bed. It was neither man nor woman, its form shifting and swirling like smoke in the dim light. Evelyn felt a terror grip her heart, a primal fear she had never known before. The entity, sensing her fear, turned its ghostly gaze upon her, and Evelyn felt a wave of despair wash over her, so strong that it threatened to take away her will to live. She wanted to scream, to run, but her body wouldn't move. She was frozen, paralyzed by the pure evil coming from the Wanderer. Just as she felt herself losing her mind, the all-clear sirens blared, breaking the oppressive silence. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these scary stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more. The Time Traveler's Ghost is out there, a scary reminder that some lines are not meant to be crossed. Tell us what you thought in the comments below, and let us know if you have any scary stories of your own. Maybe you've experienced something you couldn't explain, a chill down your spine, a whisper in the dark. Until next time, stay safe and beware of the Time Traveler's Ghost, for you never know when it might be watching.